Hello.
Hey, Tren.
Hello, Lou. How are you?
I'm good, mate. Welcome to today.
Welcome to today. Yes, we're continuing on with our landscapes.
We are
But we
Landscapes Part 2.
part two, because we have so much to talk about, but we might pick a card.
Oh, yeah, that'd be helpful.
Pick a card. What do we need to know for this episode?
Hmm.
Right. If you don't know, we're the tarot dealers.
Yes, we are. We're the tarot dealers, about,
Oh,
50 odd years experience between us. We've even created our own
yeah,
modalities. So
exactly.
I've
Yeah.
written a book. Tren's got her own modality. I can't believe we've done so
I
much
know we have, haven't we?
in
Yeah.
this time.
Yeah.
Wow. Have podcasts,
Yeah.
attend the Tarot Guild.
Exactly. We present,
We present at the
we
Tarot
teach, we,
Guild.
we
We
teach.
teach, yeah.
Yeah, we do everything.
You want to know stuff about
Yeah.
tarot? We're,
Contact us.
we're your
Yeah.
people. We're your peeps. Come ask us.
Yeah. So if you want to ask us, just ask us on our email, which is thetarotdealers@gmail.com. Or
Yes,
you
it
can
is.
comment on YouTube or Facebook, Instagram. But if you've got questions, ask them. We'll answer.
Yeah, best to our ability. We will answer you.
So what is it we need to know
Yeah.
for this episode? What do we need to keep in our
Yeah.
awareness?
One thing that Tren and I do is we like to keep it light and we like
Yeah.
to keep it fun.
Yeah.
We like to uncomplicate the things that appear complicated. Yeah,
Exactly.
because they are complex,
Well, it
but they
can be.
don't have to be complicated,
Yeah.
right? So that's what
Yeah.
we like to do. I think that's our point of difference, really.
It is. It is. So I think we have to, no, too many.
One card, Tren.
One card. We want one card.
We want one card for the episode today.
And it's just not going to play this time.
No. And for those of you listening, we are using the Rider Waite deck to
Yes.
choose the card.
When it finally decides to, I might end up just having to split the deck because they're just sticking together.
That's a really cool,
It,
interesting question. Do you, as listeners or viewers, ever find that your cards stick, or that
yeah.
you've got to keep shuffling because it just doesn't feel
It
right and it
doesn't feel,
seems to go on for a
yeah.
long time?
Yeah.
Like, how many of you experience that,
Yeah.
Or are you the person who just really quickly just pulls a card? Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
so many
How
different
do you do
things.
it? How do
Yeah.
you pick your cards?
How do you
But these
pick
are
your
just sticking together, so I'm just going to cut the deck because we'll be here for all day.
Well, that's one way to deal with a sticky deck.
And it's lovely because we have the oh my God, Ten of Pentacles.
We'll take that. It's a
Definitely
beautiful
take that.
card.
That's a
Yeah.
lovely card.
What do you make of that for the episode? What do you think?
I do think that we have a lot of resources that we can share.
Ah, yes.
And it's quite literally because I'm looking at the Ten of Pentacles in the Rider Waite, and I often think this is a generational card. So just
Yeah, me
because we
too.
might be two old ducks, what we are sharing is for everybody.
Yeah.
It's from however old you are right down to whoever's interested.
A lot of generational knowledge.
So
Yeah.
and yes, we do when we live in this world, so we try and tailor our teachings and our readings and everything to this world.
Yeah, absolutely.
You
You've got to
know,
keep it real, I feel.
Yeah, because
But
otherwise, you lose people because you're either you're too up in the ether or you're too backwards.
heavy and down. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's a really fine
yeah,
balance, I find. And, like we were talking before, you said about being a generational card
yeah,
trend.
yeah.
And to me, with tarot comes a lot of the generational information, but it's an ancient art,
It
really.
is.
Like,
Yeah,
and it's sacred and to be passing that down. So as much as we make light of the
what we do,
readings or
yes,
what we do very much respect the ancient art and
yeah.
the handing down of the wisdom and the knowledge. Like it's pretty special. And I mean, Tren has that in
Mm,
her family where it's
mm.
being passed down to the next
Yeah,
generation. And I have that in mine. And of
yes.
course, I have two generations before me.
You're lucky like
So
that. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm a bit
so
of a rebel here.
well, it would have been hard.
It would have been very hard for my parents and grandparents
It would
because,
have been, and like forging your own path. And I
oh
mean,
yeah,
like my nan, that's as far back as we can go because for a million different reasons. But
yeah,
um, in that, like, what a pioneer she was. Like, she didn't pick it up until later in her life. Yeah, fair enough. But what a pioneer for a woman of that age. like my
Yes.
grandmother, to be doing that. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
59, so, like you think about
Exactly.
my
Yeah.
grandmother, like that's, wow, and she was doing this. So to be that trailblazer, um,
It's amazing, isn't it?
absolutely. And she used to read in hairdressing salon.
Oh,
Like she said to me, "Oh, I read at the hairdressing salon." And I'm like, "Oh, Nana, why would you do that?" She's like, "Oh no, people come and they want to talk to you." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And she's
and
right.
she was right. Yeah.
She was right. And just leading the way, a trailblazer following her own path. Speaking of paths, that's what we're going to start
That's what we're
on.
going to start with, aren't we?
It's exactly what we're
Good
going to start on. Good segue.
segue.
Yeah, yeah, I did that well, didn't I? Let's have a look. So, in the Rider-Waite deck,
Yeah.
there are 4 cards that have a path on them. So, in no particular order, we'll start with the Temperance card, and it's towards the back of the card near the water. There's this path that leads up towards the sun, right? So it's like moving from the water to the earth to the fire to the
To
air,
air.
right? So it's like literally moving through all those elements, and it's a little bit of an unpaved way. Now, a path is not a road, right?
No.
So it can be a well-worn path, but it's not a road. So it's not
Mm.
like this tailored man-made thing.
No, it's been beaten
It's
down
been
by
beat
many,
down,
many
right?
footprints.
Yeah, exactly, by the footprints. So when we look at the paths, we question, are they narrow? Are they wide? Are they rocky? Are they watery? Like what are they
Yeah.
exactly? So there's this one
And the temperance.
on the temperance card, right? I'm just trying to see, did I actually write it down? So that is actually a path straight to glory.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I did too. I
Oh, I
saw that
like
and I'm like,
that.
oh, I like that. So that's a path straight to glory. Then we have, in no particular order, let's look at the moon. So the moon has a path here,
Mm.
and it's in between, or right like where that lobster, crayfish, whatever the fuck you want to
Yeah.
call him, crustacean. Yeah. There's the path that is in between the dog and the wolf, and it makes its way all the way up,
Up.
right? So it's a little bit of an unknown terrain. It's not a well-worn path. And these little things that are coming off the moon
Yeah.
and the sun here are very much what they call yods. And yods are like the fingertips of God. And it reminds us that, like, for want of a better
Mm.
phrase, heaven exists, right? So that's what it is. It's like that being touched by God stuff. That's what that is. So this path is unknown. It's rocky. There's a couple little
There's
rocks on
a
there.
couple, yeah.
Yeah, a couple little rocks. Not doesn't look like much there, but it's a couple little rocks there. So it's a slow, necessary, personal evolution. So that's what the
So
moon
take your
is.
time with
You
that one.
got to
Yeah.
take your time and think about the moon, right? So the moon is about, and it's personal evolution. I'm just sorry, jumping sideways for
Yeah.
a minute, because are we coming from a domesticated place or are we coming from this wild space, right?
Yeah.
And funny, I was going to talk about that for a second because the world at the moment is moving from what has been completely domesticated into this here, into this wild space. And yet, normally evolution would tell you that you move away from
Away.
that, but
Yeah.
we're not. And I feel that we're not because the domesticated piece has been the
Controlled.
yeah, yeah. And it didn't feel like it at the time. It
Yep.
felt like it was ordered and what was needed and it was necessary. And it probably was in
It
its
probably
day,
in its day,
but now it's like we need to get back to the
it's
roots.
almost like we've outgrown it,
We
haven't we?
have outgrown that bit
Yeah.
and we need to get back to the
Yeah.
roots. And it's like an onion, right? Let's start
Many
again. It's a
layers.
bit layers, that's
Many
right.
layers.
Many layers. So now we're going to look at the Ace of Pentacles. And the Ace of Pentacles, we have that garden in front here, and it leads out through that archway, right, out into the bigger, wider world, right? And you can tell that because of the mountains and what
Yeah.
have you at the background. So kind of in the Garden of Eden, right?
Yes.
And then you kind of make your own path and make your own way out. So for this, it's like, what have I written here? The promise to fabulous experiences.
Oh, that's nice.
I like it.
That's
Yeah.
really nice.
Promise to fabulous experiences. And that's because we're talking about a pentacle and an ace, right? And it representing the abundance and um, all the goodness, all
Newness.
the things, and
Yeah.
the newness of those good
Newness. Yeah.
things. Yeah, I like that trend, the newness of good things. And then the other card that we have is the Eight of Pentacles, right? So it's Pentacles again. Now, I didn't see this before. I've been doing this shit for a long time
Yes.
and I didn't see it, but behind his back and coming from the church, there is a tiny little yellow path.
I'm going to have a look at that. I've never
Yes.
seen that.
Yep, there's a path on
Oh
there.
my God, there
Look
is
at that.
too.
Yep, there is too. Isn't it
Wow. And now
interesting?
that you've seen it, you can't unsee it.
That's right. Now you've seen it, you can't
So
unsee
it's
it.
right in the corner.
It
You can
is.
see it, but it's right there.
And it's
Yeah.
interesting because the pentacle itself is a bit of a Freemason's symbol,
Symbol. Yeah.
if you will. But that card itself and that path represents one step at a time. And we say that because he's working on one coin at a time, and
Yes.
it's like he's mastering that craft or that piece of artwork, you could say he's mastering it before he moves on. So, but he's only doing one at a time, despite all of this coming down and in, he's
Exactly.
just focusing on
Yeah.
the one at a time. So that's how you would travel those different
Yeah.
paths. So if those cards come in a reading and then you're drawn to them, that just might help
Yeah.
with
Just
a little bit
pull
of
it out. Yeah.
framing around what that might mean.
Yeah. And after Lou pulled out the right of way, I thought I'm going to have a look at the light seers to see what paths are in there. And in the chariot, there is, I mean, I know, can't see, it's quite a dark card, but he's definitely riding along a path.
Mm.
I suppose it's, no, I suppose it could be actually a path that he's creating because it's the chariot.
Yeah, his direction
Yeah,
that
his
he's taking,
direction. Yeah.
right?
And in the Six of Pentacles on the light seers, and I had not noticed this because I'm always focused on the pentacles or the infinity symbol, but there's actually a path down the bottom
Oh,
here.
yeah, there is
There
too.
is actually a path. Things we don't see. We use
Things
them
you
all the
don't
time.
see, things you don't see
And the Ten of Swords, there's definitely a path coming
on that
on
card.
that
Yeah.
card coming down. It's like she's walking away from so much,
It's
but
what
using
he's
that path.
traveled, isn't
Yeah.
it? Like, the
Yeah.
path that's traveled. So
Yeah.
interesting. So a path is not a road, but a
No.
road is about easy access to get you
Yeah.
from point A to point B,
Exactly.
right? So a
Yeah.
path, however, is about the experiences of
On the
choice,
way.
right?
Right.
It's
Yeah.
along the way.
Yeah.
And what have I got here? And the road is public, right? A road is much more public. It's open to the public, whereas a
Yeah.
little path may not be. It might be your own stuff.
Yeah.
But as a path, I beg your pardon, as a road, think about a road is
Yeah.
open to public, then that's going to come with a lot of rules. There's a lot of
Yes.
societal
Follow the
expectation
road
and
rules.
rules and that
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
stuff around the
Yeah.
road, right?
Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah.
But a
And
path is,
yeah.
sorry, Dylan,
Yeah.
a path is a way and it is a means of passage, faith, direction, and trust.
It's interesting.
Passage, faith, direction, and trust.
And it's
So,
funny because you've got that because I've got the Knight of Swords on the light seers and he's running towards a motorbike along a path. But when I look at it, I think he's going to make his own path.
yeah, yeah, get on that bike and go a different direction,
Making,
right?
change his direction, one that he wants to follow. And it's really interesting you said that.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah, so I'm
fascinating.
just going to steer off because when we're looking at the light seers, we found all these staircases
Oh, yeah.
because they're not paths, but they're staircases. Now, in the light seers, there's a staircase and the Ace of
Sword.
Swords, can't speak. And it's very much going, well, it's up to you. You're going up or down. What are you doing? It's your choice.
And it's in the mind,
It's in the
right? So
mind.
it's like, is your mind on a bit of a
Yeah,
pathway? Is it spiraling? Because that's a
that's
spiral,
quite literally a spiral, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah,
but it's still represented in
yeah.
the stairs, right?
And then you've got the hermit, and again the stairs, and they're going. Again, if you're when you think of the hermit, it is going within, isn't it?
Mm.
So you are again look at the stairs going up, taking yourself out. And the same with the Hierophant in the light seers. Now we can't see where he's come from, but all the stairs going up is where he's going, or his choice is where he's going. So again, it does come back to direction and trust, doesn't
It
it?
does. It absolutely does. And
Yeah.
you think about stairs, right? The stairs are kind of like leveling you up or you're coming down, right? But they're usually one thing at a time, unless you've had a few too many Sherbies and you take about 10 stairs at once, right?
Yeah,
It's a bit
you can
different.
come down the
right?
fast
Yeah,
way.
come down the fast way, yeah. But at the end of the day, the stairs are something that is either ascension,
Yeah, or
right,
descension.
or descension. Yeah, so that's, but it's still that path. You still
It
follow
is
it,
it
right?
is a path. Yeah.
Mm.
And going back to what Lou was saying, are they level? Are the stairs level?
Yeah.
You know, are they higgledy-piggledy? Are they rotten? Are they solid?
Do you know what I dislike about some stairs is when you're particularly out in nature, right? And you've come across some stairs and you're walking along and like you step down with one leg and automatically I expect to step down with another one. But you've got to take 2 steps before you go down. So you find it's the same fucking leg all the time doing all the work.
Yes.
Annoys the shit out of me. Anyway, bit of a side note.
It's like, no, you've got the routine. Why are we stuffing up the routine?
I know, and I'll even deliberately like try and trick myself to take a different step. Yeah, like, is there something wrong with me? Seriously,
Even up the legs.
Yeah, even up the legs. I worry about myself sometimes. But anyway, yeah, so that's our paths and our steps and our roads. So very interesting.
Yeah, so we're going to go on to the rivers and waters now.
We are
And
going to
we're
go
not
on to
pulling
rivers and
cards for those because there's rivers and waters through everything.
There is rivers and waters through everything. So the rivers, right? They have a functional form, they have a functional reason, but they're also like they have a physical form, the function and a process, right? Because every river is different and yet it has these similarities, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So we've got to look at it like rivers, what's the same is that they flow downward. They don't flow upward, they flow downward. And it begins high and ends low.
And so, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So they're the common things. At the lowest level in the tarot, the river has been known to have been linked with manifestation. Now, the water in the Rider-Waite deck starts with the High Priestess behind her.
Yeah.
Right. So funny, which would then tell you, because the magician's the fool's the 0,
Yes.
the magician's number 1, and then we have the high priestess being number 2. And yet, so if the water is on the high priestess, how the fuck does it start with manifestation?
Exactly.
Because that's
it should
the
be on
magician.
the magician.
You would think so, right?
think...
But he's the one that's created
he's got to create it.
So he's created it, and then that's
when it starts.
That's
the high priestess.
It starts, right? Interesting, isn't it? So the questions then are, so how are you creating your flow and are you in flow, right? Because some rivers reach seas, some reach lakes, some reach swamps, and some disappear below the ground.
Yes.
So it's what's happening for you in that is very mysterious, particularly ones below the ground.
Well, yeah, it's unknown, isn't it?
Unknown again. You just don't know. And waters are very sustaining for life, right? They're essential.
We can't live without water.
You can't live without water, no. And water itself can cleanse us and purify us, you know. It feeds the surrounding earth because it gives it the moisture that it needs, right? So when we look at water, is it deep? Is it shallow? Is it toxic? Is it pure?
Is it choppy?
Is it
murky?
Choppy? Is it murky? Is it stagnant? Like all these things you look at on if you're drawn to the water, is it got a ripple effect? Is it, like all of that, right? They're all things that you look at. But in the tarot, when we look at rivers, right, we can have a river of fire, which is your wand.
Yeah.
Right? So you might, something in my eye. You might see a bit of a river of fire. There's the river of air, of course, which is the sword.
Yes.
And the river of earth, which is the pentacle. Right? Now, I haven't mentioned the cup because the cup itself is emotion and water. So it is kind of itself.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? A little bit difference. So, what else have we got here? Sources of food and water is what the rivers give us, because you think about what's contained within a river. You got fish, you can eat fish, crustaceans, you know, all lots of things, you know, plankton, seaweed. People eat fucking seaweed. Like people really eat seaweed. Anyway,
Apparently it's quite nutritious.
yeah, apparently you can tell I'm not a fan. But it definitely gives us substance. Now, when we look at a river, just imagine a river for a moment.
Mhm.
It has a border and a boundary.
It has their banks, doesn't it?
It has its banks, right? So what does that say if that's the part that you're drawn to? What does that say? And are there obstacles or things in the way that need to be removed, that aren't removed, or have you put them there? Are you a bit like a beaver where you're going to create a bank?
Create a dam. Yeah.
Dam, that's right, bank. Create a fucking dam. What's wrong with me? Create a dam. And of course, they're also, for us in this physical world, can be landmarks.
Well, they'd be borders too, can't they?
Absolutely.
In the physical world, they'd be borders.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
right? Absolutely. So what do they represent though, right? So transformation, rebirth, purity, healing, cleansing, refreshing. Yeah, all of that kind of stuff. Yeah. So when you're looking at the rivers, that's the thing to think about and the questions to ask. So a little different than just
Just
water.
water.
Right? They're a little different than just water. That's what I would say about the rivers.
Yeah.
So whilst we've done the paths and the roads, right?
The rivers
and
itself.
the stairs,
Yes.
right? The rivers themselves are kind of the
very
same thing,
different.
but in the element of water.
They're very different, aren't they?
Yeah, but in the element of water, and they speak to us about the boundaries and the toxicity
Yes.
and the, you know, are they running dry? Are they moving out to the sea? Like there's a lot in a river, and it follows its thing.
It does its own thing, and it
does its
actually
own thing.
creates its own path, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. And think about that, like on rocks, what the water does with the rocks
It goes them or makes them smooth, doesn't it? So you think of the power behind it.
power behind that.
You know, we just think of water and it's just water, but it's powerful.
Very, very powerful.
It's very powerful.
Very
isn't it?
powerful.
You know?
So
is it what's that whitewater rafting? Is it
oh my God,
is it
rafting. Have you ever done that?
Yep.
Yeah, me too. I had a fucking blast. So I went to
I nearly drowned, but anyway.
She nearly drowned. I had a fucking blast. We went to New Zealand, my youngest daughter and I, and we were doing a bit of a road trip. Can't believe
You did a
road trip. Anyway, I was driving the car all around New Zealand. It was great. Anyway, we booked in for this place to have this, you know, whitewater rapid thing.
Rapids, that's what it is. The rapids. That's what I was trying to think of.
Time of my life. Like I'd normally be the person who shit myself, but it just showed that I was hanging with the wrong people. Anyway, because I didn't feel safe with them. But I certainly felt safe here. And we had a blast time. And then there's the jet.
Oh, the jet boat.
The jet boat. Oh my!
It's not a jet ski. It's jet float, isn't it?
Boat. Yeah. And you literally get thrown and thrown back.
Yeah, they're fabulous. I love those.
Did absolutely.
I love those.
Yeah, just stopped and laughed the entire time. So, and that was in a river.
Yes. Yes, I think probably did it the same river actually.
I shit myself somewhat, but I loved it. Absolutely.
I know it's a bit of a speed junkie, aren't we?
Yeah. Again, not at this age.
No.
I loved it when I did that. And it was something that I never thought I would enjoy. So I guess the thing from that, because clearly both Tren and I have those experiences and had enjoyed them.
Yeah.
What are you actually feeling when you look at what the river is showing you on the cards?
Exactly.
Are you feeling that it's a joyful experience, a scary experience? And to remember that this is part of our why we're here, right?
Exactly.
To experience.
Exactly.
Are we going to bust through the boundaries? What happens, right? Think about a river, right? If its banks fall away.
Yes, and the flood.
And the flood.
Or if there's heavy rain and it does break its banks.
Yeah.
You know, it overflows.
What happens then, right? So
take
all of those things into consideration when you're looking at your rivers on the cards. Yes.
Because they can tell us so much more than just the emotion, the intuition, can't they? It's just like There's so much more.
So much more, yes, so much more. And my experience, it has always been doing it for a long time, is that my lived experience or my life experience often shows up in the cards.
Yes.
So what I mean by that is I might have a client come and I might look at a river and my mind might immediately go to when I was in New
Yeah,
Zealand.
exactly.
And I'll be like, oh, are you actually thinking of having a holiday? Or were you thinking of doing this? Or
Yeah,
are you feeling scared? Or like
exactly.
all of that, right? Because that's what comes to mind. So don't dismiss that stuff.
Exactly. That, and again, that comes back to the see, feel,
See,
know.
feel, know.
Yeah, it does. It
Yes.
comes back to that.
See,
So
feel,
yeah,
know.
and again, like Lou said, don't dismiss whatever images or thoughts come into your mind.
Mm.
Yes, they make sense to you, but they also will make sense to the client if you
Yeah.
explain it.
You'd be surprised. Always the weird ass shit.
It is. It
It's the
is. It's
weird.
like things you haven't thought of ever, and you go, hang on. I get movies or scenes
Oh,
from
really?
movies, and I don't
Wow.
watch movies.
That's interesting.
I get those, and I go, God, where did that come from? But it's I can relate it back to the client. They go, yeah, that's exactly what I'm feeling. So
That
do
is such a
not
cool
dismiss
thing.
anything.
Yeah, don't dismiss anything. And movies is cool. Imagine seeing the movies in your head. Wow.
Yeah,
That's insane, Trent.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, wow. This is why we're friends, mate. But
Yeah.
anyway, we hope that you have enjoyed that episode. I can't
Yeah.
believe that's gone already.
That's gone. Yeah,
That was a
that went
quick
quick,
episode.
but it was a lot of information, I thought. A
I
lot
thought
of
it was a lot of
information.
information.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So just don't dismiss rivers, lakes, stairs, pathways, roads.
Roads and those sneaky little runs that are hiding in the back that you didn't
Exactly.
even know were there, like on that
Exactly.
Eight of Pentacles. I'm like, what the fuck? There's a path there? Yeah, there is. Yeah. Anyway, enjoy.
Yes, enjoy. And thank you very much for listening, watching, subscribing, all the things. And we
Absolutely.
will see you next time.
Big love.
See you later.